So I want to tell you why I love SEFI so much. SEFIs have been a game changer in my life. I started with the AO scan in fall of 2021, and SEFI has been a staple in our world since the very, very beginning. So my first experience really using SEFI was not even 2 weeks after I had started with AO scan. I had no idea what I was doing. I was just playing around with it, and it was right before Thanksgiving. It was the night before Thanksgiving, and my mom fell. And it was the middle of the night. She went to take the garbage out and fell and didn't tell anybody. She got up the next morning and she had a black eye and she was in pain. Her ribs were hurting. So my sister took her to urgent care and I turned on SEFIs. I ran some inner voice for her and I turned on some SEFIs, and she went to urgent care and they did some x-rays and they saw that she had 3 cracked ribs, but they also saw that she had some internal bleeding on her liver. They weren't sure if there was a cyst that was there, if that we already knew was there, if that had ruptured, or if she had severed her liver. So being Thanksgiving Day, they rushed her down to the trauma hospital. And of course, everybody at home was concerned, and all I knew what to do, feeling helpless, was turn on some more SEFIs. So I just created a SEFI playlist, throwing everything but the kitchen sink at her. I had no clue what I was doing because literally I just started using this, and we just let them run and run and run. And several hours later, after the trauma doctor saw her, my sister called and said there was no sign of internal bleeding anymore. It had totally cleared itself up. And so we know, our whole family knew, that the only thing that we had done differently was have those SEFIs on. And it was so powerful because the body is amazing. When we give it that right frequency, when we give it that right energy, it can begin to heal itself. And that's exactly what happened that day. So she still had 3 broken ribs that had to heal, but there was no internal bleeding. She didn't end up needing any kind of surgery. She ended up being completely fine. So that was the turning point in my family, that everybody was like, okay, we're in. And the whole family dove into using AO scan. My sister, my father, everybody, we used it consistently. And next thing, as we continued to go forward with SEFIs, was with my kids. I have 3 kids, and as anybody who has kids know, kids can sometimes be temperamental and can have, lose their cool. And so I created a SEFI playlist. It's my Inner Peace and Tranquility playlist. This playlist is gold in my house. Whenever anybody is having a tough time, everyone in the house knows how to turn on this playlist, and it's whoever it is just settles. And there was one day that I was on a call with a client, and one of my children was having a very rough time and was very upset over I don't even know what. And I was trying to work with my client, and I said to my client, give me just 1 second. And I put them on mute, and I went to my device and I turned on this Inner Peace and Tranquility playlist. And then I went back to my client, and in under a minute, all went silent. And my client said, what did you just do? And I chuckled and I said, I turned on SEFIs, and that shifted everything. So it was so fun and so powerful. And that was sort of the turning point. That was the first time that I really did that in our house. But now all of my kids know if one person's having a rough time, somebody else knows, if I'm not around, somebody else knows to go and just turn on those SEFIs and use that sacred Inner Peace and Tranquility playlist.